Welcome to FundForum Middle East. I'm joined this afternoon by Greg Davies, who runs Centapse, and just to talk a little bit about behavioural finance. So, to Greg, welcome.
Thank you.
I think first of all, why don't we just talk a bit about behavioural finance and how you see it influencing the way money is managed currently.
Sure. Well, behavioural finance is the study of how people make decisions, and when we look at people's money management decisions or investment decisions, we as humans are all beset on all sides by a whole lot of biases. We tend to do what feels comfortable in the moment rather than necessarily what is right for our long-term objectives. What I'm much more interested in is less how do we describe all these myriad of ways in which people are making foolish decisions, but how can we use that knowledge to design things that help them to make better decisions.
Right. Okay, excellent. And with that in mind, the trend we're seeing, especially with the growth of automated advice and ownership of the whole distribution channel from manufacturing to end client, how will that influence? I mean, are we seeing an area where you can see broader, wider education for all segments of the industry?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the tools and techniques of behavioral finance can be applied to pretty much any area of finance, because in every single area there are people making decisions, and pretty much any decision can be improved if we think about how do we measure it, how do we understand where and how we're making poor decisions, and how do we start to design systematic processes that improve decision making. Now we could think about that in being applied to retail investors in the automated advice sphere, but we could also think about applying it to understanding portfolio managers or investment committees and how they're subject to biases. And so I think it's very transferable, and what we're starting to see now is the maturing of applied behavioral finance, such that it is starting to become a much more practical applied field rather than something of almost pure academic interest, which is what has happened up till now.
Sure. And that said, I mean, how do you think about, say, a millennial in comparison to somebody like me? Is their appetite for behavioural finance and the way they think clearly different to mine, or at the end of the day, does it all boil down to similar traits on an ongoing basis?
Well, I think perhaps one of the more reassuring things is that humans are humans and we are all subject to the same biases. So, millennials aren't inherently better at this than those of us who have passed through that age already. However, I think it is true to say that insofar as trying to make a difference, trying to improve decision making, a lot of that is coming through the application of data analytics and technology. And millennials, insofar as they are more comfortable with technology, are going to find it easier to use those tools to assist themselves. So we could talk about designing what we might think of as decision prosthetics, tools that enhance the human, and a lot of those are digitally delivered or digitally enabled. The robo-advisors, many of us are wearing some form of Fitbit tracking our steps. These are all things that the adoption curve is faster for millennials than it is for the rest of us.
Excellent. Well, listen, very nice to have you. Thank you very much.
It's
and I hope you enjoy the rest of FundForum.
Thank you very much.